Yeah, this summer will be the culmination of 4 years' work for the whole team, not just Helen and myself, who fingers crossed will be in the boat. Yeah, you look back to last summer, and absolutely that was the first time we've gone to a championships to defend a title, and we're going to have to do the same next summer, or this summer, sorry, in Rio. Have to go there and defend a title. But that only comes about because of all the hard work we do in the winter months, and that's that time now where you have to put in the long hours, the long days, and it is relentless. And unfortunately, I think in the summer is the time that we're out there in the sunshine and racing over 2,000 metres, and people think that's all we ever do, but actually it's the rowing in the wind, the rain, the snow sometimes. That's when the hard training gets done.
What are the worst conditions that you face when you're out on the training? Because this winter has been incredibly mild, I suppose, in many ways, but also the wind, wherever you've been, has made life particularly difficult, hasn't it?
Absolutely. The wind has just been relentless this winter. There have been winters in the past where we can remember clear blue skies, dead flat water. It's been bitterly cold, but the water's flat, and that's brilliant for training. However, this winter has been the absolute opposite. It's been a lot milder, so okay, we haven't been out there in our bobble hats and number of layers, but the wind has just been relentless, and it just means the water's rougher. It means our skill level has to be a lot higher, and especially for Helen and myself in a pair, it's a tricky boat to row anyway. You've only got control of one side of the boat, so when you're in rough water, it just makes it a lot harder. So it just means that we have to be mentally on it every single session, which in one sense is brilliant. It's really good training. But the other sense is it's just relentless, and it does get very tiring. It's tiring on our bodies. You're either in a headwind, a crosswind, a tailwind. The conditions are always changing, but I suppose that's the fact we're in an outdoor sport, and that's what makes it different from others, I guess.
When you're out there at the beginning of a race, just tell us what goes through your collective minds. You know, you've done all the training, you've done all the practice sessions, you've gone through it all, but when you're actually there at the start, you've got this great long course ahead of you. What's going through your mind at that particular time at the beginning?
I think I usually get quite excited, especially at the beginning of a season of racing, about getting those first few races out of the way and kind of seeing what the winter has done for us. Because, like I said, a lot of winter training is longer miles. So when you come down to racing 2 kilometres, initially it seems like quite a short race, because in the winter we race over 5 kilometres in some of our trials. So 2K is half that. You're like, brilliant. This race is going to be a lot quicker. But I think as well, we've got a lot of self-confidence in our own ability, and we've got to make sure we reiterate why we're confident in our ability. And that's by going out and producing results and producing a good classy race, and that won't come by just wanting it. You've got to actually go out and do it yourselves. So I think I get excited about being able to show myself and show Helen what we've improved since the last time we raced, and also show Robin, because he's equally as important part of our crew. Although he's not in the boat with us, he puts in a lot of time for me and Helen, and has done for the last 6 years. And so I think every time we go out to race, we want to show to him all the things he's worked on with us. I think that's probably the really tough thing as a coach. You push the crew off and say good luck and go and do what you've been working hard to do.
I mean, immediately, what's your first aim? Because obviously the Olympics is down the line, assuming, of course, you are selected, and we mustn't just take that as read. Everyone assumes that it'll be you and Helen together, but these things are never taken for granted, I'm sure, not within these sort of walls anyway. But what's the first stage for you, really, in 2016?
I think, like you say, not taking selection for granted, because we've got an incredibly strong squad here within the British setup, and there are more girls here fighting for seats than I think we've ever had. So yeah, I think at the moment, certainly on the sweep side, we've got an 8 in a pair qualified, and we've got more than 10 people who could sit in any of those seats. So the first and foremost in front of our minds is making sure we do the job we need to at trials and get selected. And then it's going out to the various regattas. So we've got the European Championships and the 2 World Cup regattas, which we'll go to. And it's making sure we go to those and use them as stepping stones to the Games. You don't want to go out and have your best race of the season in the end of May, when actually you want to be performing at the beginning of August. So it's using those regattas sensibly, but making sure that we're putting together the race plans the way we want to. And I think that's probably the luxury we have now, having been an established crew, is if we are selected together, we don't have to work out how we race together. We know how we race together, and it's having the luxury of pulling together a race plan that we know works.